What's up, YouTube? Jeff, your Style O.G. And on today's video, I'm going to share with you 8 ways you can better manage your anger. If you're new to the channel, we release a new video every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, discussing various men's lifestyle topics such as style, grooming, and dating. I invite you to subscribe, tap that notification bell, and join us. And to my returning friends like J. Hal, salute. You'll notice that the title of today's video says how to manage anger, not eliminate it. That's because anger itself isn't easy to eliminate. It's a normal human emotion that we all experience. The problem is you have to make sure you experience anger, not be controlled by it. And a lot of times when you aren't able to manage your anger, it can lead to some very negative consequences in your life. That's what I want to help you avoid with today's video. On today's video, I'm going to talk to you about 8 techniques you can incorporate in your life that will have you experience anger but not be controlled by it. So without any further delay, let's hop right into it. Now, just like with any other issue you might experience in life, you can't fix it if you don't realize it's going on. And that includes managing your anger. Fortunately, there's some physical reactions you can pay attention to or take note of to realize, hey, I might be angry. For one, you'll notice tension throughout your body. You might realize you're clenching your jaws and your fists. Additionally, the rate of your breathing will increase. You might notice you're feeling restless or you're starting to pace around the room. For some guys, they might sweat or tremble. Take, for example, myself. A lot of people that know me say, Jeff, when you're getting upset, your top lip trembles. A dead giveaway. The key is, before you can start implementing some techniques to manage your anger, you have to realize you're going through it. Pay attention to certain physical reactions that may happen when you're angry. Now, if you recognize you're getting angry, I think the first line of defense to make sure you manage that anger is either to take a step back or remove yourself from the situation. The problem is a lot of times when we get angry, our first inclination is to react. You have all this built up emotion that you need to get out. And a lot of times when you're angry, you're not going to respond in a positive way. Instead, take some simple steps to alleviate the situation. If you can't leave the situation right away, the first thing I suggest, think before you speak. Count to 10. Allow yourself to calm down. A lot of times anger will make you say things you'll later regret. But even better, if you can, remove yourself from the situation. Excuse yourself and go take a walk. Another great thing to do when you're noticing you're getting angry, don't speak to the person that's causing that anger. I would see if I could talk to a third person to express what's going on to a person who doesn't have a dog in the fight. Overall point is, when we get angry, we're in fight or flight mode. Most of the time, it's better to calm down and do the flight before the fight. Now, sometimes when dealing with your anger or any other emotional issues you may be facing, you might decide you need some outside help, like a therapist. If that sounds like you, I highly recommend you look into receiving that help from today's video sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a great online resource that assesses your needs and matches you with a licensed professional therapist. It's not a self-help line, it's not a crisis line. It's licensed professional counseling done online. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches. And it's very easy to get started. All you have to do is go to BetterHelp, HELP.com/StyleOG and complete a short anonymous online questionnaire. In this questionnaire, you'll give general background information about the issues you want to seek therapy for. Then BetterHelp matches you with a therapist most suitable to address your needs. You'll get timely, thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly phone or video sessions. And one of the bonuses about BetterHelp, it's more affordable than traditional offline therapy and financial aid is available. And BetterHelp wants to make sure you have the best match to suit your needs. Changing therapists is free if needed. Now, not only did BetterHelp sponsor today's video, they've got a special offer for the Style O.G family to help you prioritize your mental health for this new year. When you hit that link in the description, you'll get 10% off your first month's treatment. So if you want to prioritize your mental health this new year, go to betterhelp.com/StyleOG and join the over 2 million people that have taken charge of their mental health. Next up on the list of 8 of the best ways to manage your anger is one I believe is extremely effective. If you find yourself getting angry, try to engage in some physical activity. When you're having that fight or flight response, those emotions have to go somewhere. A lot of times it's great to exert them in a physical way. For some guys, it might work to have some explosive movements. You know, some weightlifting, some boxing, hitting that punching bag, you get the idea. But what might be even more effective, engage in some type of aerobic activity. When you engage in aerobic activity, those good feeling dopamine hormones are released, leveling off your mood. These good feeling hormones have been shown to reduce depression, stress, and hostility. When you exert yourself with some physical activity and release these good feeling hormones, it's hard to feel aggressive or confrontational. Like I said, when you're having that fight or flight response, those emotions have to go somewhere. It might be helpful to engage in a physical activity. Now, next up on the list is another effective technique that may help you manage your anger. In fact, a lot of people might suggest it's the first step. I don't necessarily agree, and I'll explain why after we get into it. You might want to take the time to identify your anger triggers. Yes, I think it's very important to figure out the situations, circumstances, or people that frustrate you, irritate you, or put you in a position where you feel things are unfair. And if all possible, try to reduce your exposure or eliminate these circumstances and people. Good idea. The only reason why I don't put this as the first step is because a lot of times you can't avoid these situations. That's why I believe you have to figure out, once you get angry, what you need to do. Now, if you do have the ability to eliminate or reduce exposure to these people or those situations, it's a great thing to do. But it's just as important to know, hey, I'm walking into a situation that might trigger my anger. What are some techniques I'm going to use to make sure I control it? So part of an overall plan to manage your anger, yes, I do believe it's important to identify your anger triggers. Now, earlier in the video, we discussed that a physical reaction to getting angry is an increased breath rate. So naturally, one of the best ways to control your anger is to take control of your breathing. You can do this with deep breathing exercises. You see, when you practice deep breathing, these deep breaths are a signal to your body it's time to cool off and calm down. And doing and practicing deep breathing isn't that difficult. First, I want you to place your hand on your belly and take a deep breath through your nose. You want to feel your belly rise and fill up with air when you're taking a deep breath in. Then blow that same breath out of your nose. Repeat these deep breaths 3 or 4 more times. You'll notice your breath rate decreasing and you'll feel more in control. The key is, when you're controlling your breathing, is letting your body know, let's chill out. If you want to control your anger, take control of your breathing. Now, next up, we have another technique to manage your anger that will help you with the physical reactions that happen when you get angry. Remember earlier we talked about how your body will tense up. One of the ways to manage your anger is to relax the tension in your body. In other words, relax those muscles. You see, when you're feeling relaxed, it's hard to be anxious or hostile, and it's not that difficult to do. What you want to do is relax muscles in different groups, one at a time. You're not going to be able to release the tension in your whole body right away. Pick one muscle group, then move to the other. For example, if you're feeling tension in your chest, this is what you do. Take a deep breath in and tense up those chest muscles for about 10 seconds. Then let that breath out and immediately untense those muscles. Once you've relaxed that muscle group for about 10 to 15 seconds, move on to another muscle group. Say, for example, your shoulders. Take that deep breath in, tense them up for 10 seconds, and then let it out. Because like I said, when you feel relaxed, it's hard to be angry. Release that tension in your body by releasing tension in your different muscle groups. Now, earlier we talked about one of the best ways to manage your anger is to do some physical activity. That falls under the subset of my next suggestion. When you feel yourself getting angry, do something else to create a distraction. What you want to do if you're experiencing anger that you feel you need to manage, do something else to take your mind or your body away from that situation. Create a distraction. What I'll often do is I'll throw on some of my favorite music, even some aggressive music, sing along and dance to it. Or some of the best things to do to create a distraction from your anger, take on a task. Fix something around the house. Do some household chores. Another great technique to create distractions, do something fun. Or one of my favorite things to do, read something for pleasure. The key is to take your mind and your body away from the anger-causing situation. Even if it's only temporarily, create a distraction to get your attention away from your anger. Now, next up on the list of the best ways to manage your anger is one that requires you to take some self-accountability. The next time when you're discussing why you're angry with someone, try to use I statements. Here's why this is important. A lot of times when we get angry, we blame everybody. We blame outside forces. We point the finger at them. This puts the other person on the defensive. When you use I statements instead, it fosters positive communication. So instead of saying, you did this to me, I'm angry, say, I'm upset because this happened. When you use I statements, it allows you to be assertive without being accusatory. It allows the blame to get spread around and a person is much more likely to listen. When you use I statements, it doesn't feel like you're pointing the finger as much. You see, the thing is, you want to resolve the issue that causes the anger, not put the other person on the defensive. One of the best ways to discuss and get to the bottom of what's bothering you or causing you to be angry, use I statements. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we can't completely eliminate anger from our life. It's part of the human experience. But that's the thing. You have to be able to experience your anger, not be controlled by it. And I firmly believe if you incorporate several of the techniques we talked about in today's video, you'll be well on your way to better manage your anger. And as always, I'd love to have your input. Let the Style O.G family know in the comment section if you have some anger management tips you want to add to the ones that we discussed in today's video.